Hey guys, you would think after having repeated life bullshit happen to me that I wouldn't want to touch anything remotely sad in the Helluva Boss off season, but I'm a therapist, y'all. My toxic trait is that I will continuously find an excuse to have hard conversations. But before I get too carried away, hi, my name is Haley Z, and I'm a licensed therapist, artist, aspiring voice actress, and cat mom. And although I am not Georgia Dow's badly behaved, heavily tattooed cousin from California, I will absolutely take it as a compliment if you mistake me for that. Anyway, since I tend to talk a lot about Stolas and Blitz on this channel, I figured it would be good today to talk about Octavia, and how a divorce like the one her parents are experiencing can, in clinical terms, really fuck shit up. At least for a time. As a daughter of divorced parents myself, albeit ones who were vastly less toxic than the S&S crew, Octavia hits my heart like a ton of bricks every time she's on screen. While she presents as a teenager who's doing her own thing and differentiating herself from her parents, you can tell she's becoming painfully aware of her role in the Goetia family and craving secure attachment with her dad Stolas. To date, we haven't actually seen Octavia and her mom Stella interact, so it's hard to say how Via feels about her mother, other than acknowledging that her father is busy hating her, which we will get to that, I promise. And as a quick side note and reminder, secure attachment is what we as humans should be aiming for generally with all of our relationships. So if you want to learn more about attachment theory, please do check out my video related to the topic, and more importantly, check out the links that I include in the description of that video. Now, divorce is something that many of us watching are personally familiar with, I'm sure, in some way. Some of us may be singing our hallelujahs that our parents have split up, while others may hate that their parents have gone their separate ways. Still, others of us may lie somewhere in the middle, with a nuanced mix of gratefulness and regret. But even in the best of circumstances, we can't deny that divorce can sometimes bring a degree of unpleasantness, if only for those fleeting thoughts of, damn dog, do I even want to get married now? The Goetia divorce is particularly egregious, having been spurred on by Stolas' cheating on Stella with Blitz back in the pilot episode. However, we're also shown throughout the show that Stella does treat Stolas absolutely terribly, so there was a lot that went into this decision to split. At least from our vantage point. That said, real quick, I don't want to come off as defending Stolas' decision to cheat in and of itself. Let me explain. I personally define cheating as actions with others that deviate from the defined expectations from the relationship. The person being cheated on can literally be the biggest asshole in the entire universe, and in my opinion, cheating still wouldn't be the correct action to take. This is because I judge the action of cheating rather than who's all involved. Now, do I think it's a lot meaner and more negatively impactful when the person being cheated on is a good partner who cares? Absolutely. But to me, cheating in and of itself is not a good solution to a problem or an antidote to a bad relationship. And let me be very, very clear in this. I am not saying that everyone who cheats is automatically a bad person, nor do I believe in the phrase, once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't think shit works like that, y'all. People do change, and I will always maintain that every single person on planet Earth changes, and often for the better. So I don't want anybody who's cheated in the past to be thinking that this is some sort of like, oh my god, if you're cheating, you're the worst person ever screed, because it totally isn't. Anyways, I hope all of that makes sense, because the amount of discourse I've seen on this subject with regards to Stella and Stolas is pretty staggering, y'all. So again, this is all my opinion, but I just wanted to make a little aside about that. And yes, you guys, I know. Stolas is gay, the marriage was arranged, and Stella is a gigantic asshole. Just want to make it clear that I know these things too, just in case someone in the comments thinks I don't for some reason. So let's get back to the star of the show, which is Octavia. Now, Octavia is acutely aware of the affair her dad is carrying on with Blitz, as Stolas makes absolutely no attempt to hide it.
Now, I'm calling the only man who can me.
What the hell?
At the same time, she's also privy to her mother's blatant mistreatment of her dad, as evidenced by Stella planning to kill Stolas in front of him and Octavia. Yes, Via has headphones in the scene, but let's be real, you guys, she's old enough to know what the fuck's going down. We do see throughout the show that Stolas does make bids for connection with Octavia, particularly in the Lululand episode of season 1. However, the connection attempt in this episode is also Stolas' excuse to interact with Blitz primarily, whom he blatantly hits on in front of Via. In the Season 2 episode Seeing Stars, we learn that Stolas promised a young Octavia that he would take her to see a special meteor shower in the future. However, when that day comes in present day, Stolas is too busy arguing with Stella to remember his promise, which eventually leads to a wild goose chase where Stolas and Blitz come frantically looking for Via in Los Angeles. And while the episode ends fine, I guess, we also witness a powerful scene between Luna and Octavia where Via says this.
Right, that's why you're here instead of him. He couldn't be bothered to keep his promise, and now he can't be bothered to come and get me himself. He'd rather spend his time just screaming at my mum. Why does he hate her more than he loves me?
As a reminder, I mentioned earlier that Stella and Octavia may not have necessarily interacted on the show yet, but Octavia is still painfully aware of how much her dad hates her mom, to the point where any nice things Stolas does get drowned out by his negativity towards Stella. And while I don't wholly disagree with what Luna says about nuance and cutting dad's slack, I mean, listen, remember, I live on the corner of Nuance Street and Complexity Road. I think it's still important for Stolas to recognize that in order for him to build lasting, consistent trust with his daughter, he really needs to show up for her in a way that doesn't center other people. Like, take the time to get to know what Via really likes to do. Take the time to catch up with her on her life goals and dreams, etc., rather than clinging to whatever old child memories you have of her. Or, even worse, slotting her into what you already wanted to do with someone else. I swear, if he consistently tended to her this way, things would be a lot better between them. Now, in the recent trailer for Season 2 that came out in late April, we can hear Octavia clearly saying,
You never loved Mother, and you don't love me, you love him.
And while we obviously don't have context for that quotation yet, I'm assuming it's coming out in one of the 3 remaining episodes we have for later this year, I think it reminds us that regardless of how well prior episodes have seemed to end between Stolas and Octavia, these wounds run deep. And in the aftermath of the divorce, Stolas really does have his work cut out for him in terms of proving himself as a reliable, consistent father. Now, I know I haven't talked that much about Stella in this video, and that's because, again, we really don't know much about her. Yes, what we do know is all pretty bad, but even for someone who presents as terribly as Stella, is it crazy that I hope we see more depth from her in future episodes? Is it wild that I hope for growth from her, especially in terms of her role as a mother? I'm not saying this is likely or anything, and in fact, I can see her really upping the villain ante even more post-divorce, but hey, as I always say about this show, a girl can dream. So I think I've gotten to the most important part of this video, which is my message to you real-life cats who are experiencing a parental divorce. Yes, this vid is definitely dedicated to you guys, especially the teenagers among y'all. To be honest, my channel is definitely not designed for younger people, as you can probably tell, and I try to make that clear so as to keep everything age appropriate and not have things be weird around here. However, all that being said, I've realized that being in this fandom, I obviously can't stop younger people from watching the show or watching my channel, and I'm really not trying to die on that hill. So here's what I have to say to especially the younger of y'all who may be watching this video and may be going through a really unfortunate parent divorce yourselves. For the kids out there who are seeing these toxic dynamics happen in real time, there's really nothing I can properly say to convince you to be okay with your parents divorcing, and nor would I want to. Truly, I want you to feel all of these feelings and to be able to talk with someone about these feelings. I also want you to know that you've probably already been told this, but your parents' divorce is not about you or anything you did. It's really about them and their ability to function with each other. Yes, this is unfortunately all going to affect their ability to parent you, and to varying degrees, you will probably be hurt because of this. And for this, I am so incredibly sorry, and I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that it shouldn't be this way. I wish it wasn't this way. However, here's the possible silver lining. A divorce, as messed up as it sounds right now, can be an opportunity for parents to disentangle themselves from toxicity and eventually show up as their better selves. Even if they don't, it's still, reminder, never ever because of anything you did, So please remember that. I don't care how repetitive I sound, I will say that over and over again. Now, some commenters have reminded me of the slight bias I have against Stolas, and I will never deny that, and I will fully own, as I have in the past, why I have this bias. However, I think he said it best when he told Octavia, "You will be okay." I really believe this message, not just for Octavia herself, but for anybody watching this video, regardless of what you're going through. I hope you'll comment and join the conversation, or maybe literally like it, like YouTube like it, so that it shows up in the algorithm a little bit more. But no matter what, please know I always love having you guys here, and I always look forward to the next opportunity to talk psychology-related stuff with y'all. Now, heads up, I might be a little slow this month. I mean, shit's been hitting the fan. But next in the pipeline is a BoJack video, where I tie in my own story of sobriety and learning to be a better person, so stay tuned for that. I'm super excited about that one. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.